Welcome to this YouTube channel, and here we provide very important information that can help you to have a better performance in your technical drawing examinations. If you are watching this video for the first time and other videos that I have on this channel for the first time, please subscribe and help me to share my videos with your friends who are also technical drawing or engineering drawing students. Here we have 2026 WAEC technical drawing objective questions, and I'm going to provide answers to the questions as we have it here. So I need to edit this. Okay, so let's look at the questions as we have it here. The question 1 says that arrow-headed lines are used for dimension lines. That is option A is the answer to question 1. Question 2 says that when a circle is divided into 16 equal parts, the angle subtended by one of the sectors is 22.5 degrees. So just divide 360 degrees by 16. So the answer will be 22.5 degrees. Then question 3 says that an annulus is the space between two concentric circles. Option D is the answer to question 3. Then question 4 says that the surface development of a right cone is a sector. Surface development of a right cone is a sector. Then question 5 says that figure 1 shows a method of constructing a regular polygon, and here we have that the polygon obtained is a heptagon. So we are looking at this line that is joined with 7. Okay, so this point 7 is going to be the center of a circle that will give us a regular heptagon. So option C is the answer to question 5. Then question 6 says that which of the following is obtained by bisecting two interior angles of a triangle? So which of the following is obtained by bisecting two interior angles of a triangle? So when we bisect the two interior angles of a triangle, we obtain an inscribed circle. We obtain an inscribed circle. So option A gives us the answer to question 6. Let's look at question 7. So here we have that a regular polygon whose ratio of its exterior angle to interior angle is 1:3 is a octagon. Is a octagon. So how can you get the answer to a question like this? Just sum this together. 1 plus 3 will give us 4. So divide 360 degree. Okay, divide 360 degree. Divide 180 degree by 4, and that will give us 45. Okay, so 45 degree is the exterior angle of a octagon. 45 degree is the exterior angle of a octagon. So that is how you can get answer to this question. Let me say it again. What you just have to do, add this ratio together. 1 plus 3 will give us 4. Then divide 180 by 2. You know the sum of exterior angle of a polygon and its interior angle is 180 degrees. The sum of exterior angle and interior angle is 180 degrees for a polygon. So when you sum this together, so 1 plus 3 will give us 4. So divide 180 by 4, and that will give us 45. So that 45 is the exterior angle of an octagon. So we have the answer here to be option C. Then question 8 says that an object drawn to a scale 2:1 is twice the full size. An object drawn to a scale 2:1 is twice the full size. So option D is the answer to question 8. Then question 9 says that figure 2 shows 3 views of a block. Here we ask that the value of X is, so the value of X, this is the front elevation, and this is the plan, this is the end elevation. For us to produce this end elevation, we have to draw a line from here, and we also have to draw a line from here. So whatever distance from here to here is, it's also the same as distance from here to here. So the value of X is 30. So we add the value of X to be 30. Then question 10 says that figure 3 shows a truncated prism. Then here we ask that the surface development of the truncated prism is, we take option A is the answer to that question. Option A is the answer to that question 10. Then question 11 says, the construction process started as shown in figure 4. We produce a regular octagon. To produce a regular octagon, so how do I know that? So we have a side from here to here, that is 1. From here to here, join this together, that is 2. From here to here is 3. From here to here is 4. And from here to here is 5. From here to here is 6. From here to here is 7. And from here to here is 8. So it gives us a octagon. So option B is the answer to question 11. Then question 12 says that the value of angle QRS in figure 5 is, the value of angle QRS in figure 5 is 135 degree. Okay, so the angle at this point Q is 90 degree. So the angle at this point R here is 45, and also at this point P is 45. So 45 plus 135 gives us 180, as we know that the sum of angles on a straight line is 180 degrees. So if we subtract 45 from 180, it will give us 135. So the answer is option C to this question 12. Then question 13 says that the type of arc shown in figure 6 is a lancet arc. So the answer is option B for question 13. Then move to question 14 that says that the right-hand view of the block shown in figure 7 is, the right-hand view of the block shown in figure 7 is option A is the answer. So we are looking at the object in this direction. So we are going to have the right-hand elevation on the left side of the front elevation. Okay. All right. So these views, as I'm looking at these views, they are given in third angle projection. These views are given in third angle projection. This is the plan, and this is the front elevation. So it means that the right hand elevation will be placed here. It will be placed here on the right side of the front elevation. But this is what we are going to get. Okay. This is what we are going to obtain for the right hand elevation. For the right hand elevation, this is what we are going to see. Okay, now let's move on to question 15 that says the command tab shown in figure 8 is construction line. So this is our construction line looks in okay, we call it that's AutoCAD. Okay, AutoCAD. So this is how the construction line look in AutoCAD. Then question 16 says that the AutoCAD tool shown in figure 9 is called array. So this is called array. Option B is the answer to question 16. Then question 17 says that an epicycloid is the locus of a point on the circumference of a circle which rolls without slipping on the outside of a circular arc. So option C is the answer to question 17. Then we'll move to question 18. So question 18 says that the surface produced when a cylinder is cut perpendicular to the base is the first surface produced when the cylinder is cut perpendicular to the base is to give us a circle. So when a cylinder is cut perpendicular to the base, it will give us a circle. Okay, so option D is the answer to question 18. Now, when we move to question 19, we are using this particular figure to answer question 19 and 20. Then question 19 says that the isometric view of the block shown in figure 10 is option D, gives us the answer to question 19. Then question 20. So we have that the left end elevation of the block is option D, is the answer to question 20. Then question 21 says that which of the following plane figures is conic sections? Which of the following plane figures is conic section? Which of the following plane figures are conic sections? So option D is the answer to this question. Triangle, circle, ellipse are conic sections. So let's take note of that. Then question 22 says that the locus of a point which moves around a fixed point and outward at a fixed rate is known as an Archimedean spiral. The locus of a point which moves around a fixed point and outward at a fixed rate is known as an Archimedean spiral. So option C is the answer to question 22. Then question 23 says that the most suitable grade of pencils used for borderline is HB. Option D is the answer to question 23. Then question 24, we are making use of this figure to answer question 24 and 25. Question 24 says that the plan of the intersection shown is represented as option D is the answer to this question. I'm looking at this option D. Okay, sorry, option C is the answer to this question, but I'm looking at how this square a prism is positioned on this bed. I'm taking option D as the answer. I'm sorry, option C as the answer to this question 24. Then question 25 says that the development of the part P is option D is the answer to question 25. Okay, so survey development of this section of this part B, part P, will give us option D as the answer. Then question 26 it says that the electrical symbol shown in figure 12 represents a DC motor. It represents a DC motor. Okay, then question 27, the principle of tangency is applied in the design of spanner. So that is option B, gives us the answer to question 27. Then question 28 says that the part of a solid that can be sectioned when a cutting plane cut through it is a bush. So we have this answer to be option B is the answer to question 28. Then when we move to question 29, says that the point at which a line intersects the vertical and horizontal plane is called a trace. That is option A is the answer to question 29. Then question 30 says that the solid that requires construction of a true length for its development is a square pyramid. It's a square pyramid. So question A, option A is the answer to that question 30. Now we are done with first 30 questions which are meant for general questions in technical drawing. Now let's look at the question for building drawing, which are question 31 to 40. So question 31 to 40. So we now want to use this particular diagram to answer question 31 to 33. So question 31 says that the number of openings in the building is 3. So the number of openings in the building is 3. So how do I know that? So we have what? We have a window here. This is a window. Okay. So we have a window here. So there's an opening here. Then we have a door here. So there's also an opening here. And then we also have a door here. There is also an opening here. Okay. So we have 3 openings in this building. So option C is the answer to question 31. Then question 32 says that the part labeled K is called lintel. So this part labeled K is lintel. So we have a lintel over the opening here. We also have a lintel over this opening. We also have a lintel over this opening. So we are concentrating on this. So this part that is labeled K is a lintel. So that is option A is the answer to question 32. Then question 33 says that the type of roof used for the building is called flat. So we call it flat roof or parapet roof. Okay, so the answer is option D to question 33. Then question 34 says that the following are part of a staircase except revolving. So the answer is option B for question 34. Then question 35 says that the part labeled G on the window shown is, we call it mutin. So that is option A is the answer to question 35. Then question 36 says that a door's specification is 2,100 by 900 by 30 in 100 by 50 timber frame. It is so as we have it here. So the answer is single door and 38 thick. Single door and 38 thick is the answer to question 36. Then question 37 says that a concrete beam located beneath a door is called a sill. So that is option A is the answer to question 37. Then question 38 says that the symbol of concrete is option D. So it's the answer to that question 38. Then question 39 says that blinding is a part of foundation. That is option B is the answer to question 39. And question 40 says that the tool shown in figure 15 is a trowel. So option D gives us the answer to question 40. Okay, so we have been able to answer question question 1 to question 30 generally in technical drawing, and question 31 to 40 on building drawing. So it's as simple as I've done it here. All you have to do is to pay attention, and when you are studying technical drawing, you must let your mind be there so that you can capture all that you need to capture, so that when you have questions like this, you are able to answer them. Thank you, and God bless you.